Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. In my early YouTube days, I made a couple of videos about the history of the Netheril, but I was not very good at titling them or building the right thumbnail. Still, I think it had one of the best intros, and I'll link it in the top right corner if you are interested. I made a video a few weeks back on the mysterious black obelisks hidden in the Forgotten Realms 5e adventures, and I won't spoil it here, but if you're interested, check out that video. I'll link it in the description, and in this follow-up video, I wanted to detail the Netherese Empire, an ancient magical human civilization that changed magic forever in Faerun. However, before we jump in, this video is sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge is a cool company that allows you to build custom 3D miniatures for tabletop RPGs from their website, and you can try this out right now. They have a character builder where you mix and match faces, clothes, weapons, and more. It's really fun, and I find myself making a lot of silly characters and then ones that I want to play. They have a color plastic technology, or you can get your mini painted in color by Hero Forge. The character can be printed with regular plastic or even metal. And if you or your local library has access to a 3D printer, Hero Forge sells the STL files so you can print them out yourself. If you're an online D&D player, there is a photo booth area where you can take nice screenshots for any virtual tabletop software. It's super fun. Check out the link below in the description, and thank you, Hero Forge, for sponsoring this video. History time. So a long time ago, in a D&D setting far away, there were human tribes, and these tribes were being attacked by raiding orcs, and started to band together for protection. This led to the formation of a kingdom, and a king, who wasn't the best, but his name was Nether. King Nether called his kingdom Netheril, which means Nether's land. Demanding tribute from the neighboring tribes, he was assassinated, and a loose democratic government was put into place. A while later, some Erlani elves who were living in Faerun decided to approach the humans of Netheril. The humans thought elves were immortal beings of myth, but after a bit the elves convinced the Netherese they were mortal and could be friends. Trade opened up between the elves and the Netherese, but the important takeaway from this connection was that the elves taught the Netherese magic. It took over a year for the first human to learn a cantrip, and 2 years later, this human, who was named Theron Gers, became the first arcanist, which is the name for a Netherese wizard. Magic was so popular in the coming years and deemed essential for Netherese culture that once you turned 13, you were instructed in the ways of magic. With newfound powers, the Netherese started to explore further and away from their homeland. This exploration, and 300 years later, led to the discovery of the Nether Scrolls. No one knows who found them, and that person is simply referred to as the Finder. The Finder went into an ancient ruin looking for something to hopefully sell, and came across these scrolls. Naming them after their homeland, the Nether Scrolls, they took them back home and started studying them. The scrolls are very important because they allowed for near exponential magical growth within Netheril. The Nether Scrolls were 2 sets of 50 scrolls that contained knowledge beyond measure, and seemed to bestow a fundamental understanding of magical theory. Rereading the scrolls would present new information. They were clearly magical and made of precious metals, gold and platinum. This was the second turning point for the Netherese. No longer did they have to rely on the elves for magical understanding. With the scrolls, they were able to base their magical theories on the scrolls themselves. And this is my opinion here, but it always felt that the elves looked at magic as a friend or a tool to assist them. The Netherese saw magic as something to be dominated and controlled. Now, magic in the Forgotten Realms is an energy source that flows like a web or a blanket throughout the universe, known as the Weave. A person who casts magic learns how to manipulate this weave, and magical items are tied to the weave in some way, which is how those items are magical. The Netherese, now with further understanding of magic, built large magical objects known as Mythalar. Mythalar were enormous spheres made out of crystal that dug deep into the weave and could redistribute magical energy. See, a force of magical energy could be found around a Mythalar, and this allowed the Netherese to create some items called quasi-magical items. To create a true magical item that is permanent, an arcanist or wizard would have to use some of their vitality or life force in the process. and this rapidly aged them and shortened their lifespan. Not many wished to do this, but with the Mythalar in place, these quasi-magical items would work exactly the same as permanent magical items, as long as they were within a 1-mile radius of the Mythalar. The floodgates were now open, and magical experimentation rose. Tired of fighting goblins and orcs on the ground, the wizard Iolam took a Mythalar to a mountain, and using an 11th level spell, he cut the top of the mountain from its base. Then, using a spell called Ythern's Levitation and Chronomancer's Gravity Reversal, he flipped the mountaintop, placed the Mythalar inside, and this gave him a very large circular flat surface that floated in the air, allowing him to build a flying city. Because Iolam was the first to do this, it was considered his property, his city. He named it Iolam's Enclave, and people all across Netheril flocked to him, wanting to live in the clouds. There, one could live without a threat from those who fear and don't understand magic. Within 200 years, there were 13 enclaves floating around Faerun, and this created an upper and lower class. The lower class literally beneath the flying cities, farming food for the people above. The golden age of Netheril was marked by the birth of Jiraiya Kronos, known historically as Chronomancer. He was the first Chronomancer, which is a wizard who specializes in the magical manipulation of time. Most wizards and people in general find it difficult understanding time magic and the possible outcomes of manipulating the natural course of events. Thus, Chronomancy was a secretive and very rare school of magic to specialize in. Jiraiya, aka Chronomancer, created a few spells such as Reverse Gravity, but known at the time as Chronomancer's Gravity Reversal. Yes, the same used to build those flying enclaves. Also, Time Stop, which was originally called Chronomancer's Time Stop. Now, if you're interested, I would encourage you to go check out my Obelisk video. It does contain minor spoilers for a few adventures, but it hints at some time manipulation that may be coming to the Forgotten Realms. And the reason for this video is because the Netheril might be playing an important role in the future of the realms, and possibly Dungeons & Dragons. I want to keep theory crafting, and thus here we are on this deep dive with the Netheril. Now, Chronomancer, the Arcanist wizard, had some interesting beliefs. Unlike most Netherese wizard, he believed the Netheril should protect their neighbors, the people not floating on flying cities. He found value in supporting elves, dwarves, and other humans, but exactly like the Netherese, he did not see the gods as something to be worshipped. Many Netherese believed the gods to just be powerful wizards, and godhood was attainable if you could achieve ultimate magic. To worship a deity was considered a step backwards from ultimate magic. Now, Chronomancer helped fend off an attack of orcs, but he did suffer a grievous wound, and his pride would not allow him to accept healing magic from the gods. Thus, he died 8 days later. Soon after his death, 9 men broke into Iolam's floating city and stole 24 parts of the Nether Scrolls. Fearing the Arcanist's ability to track them, they hammered the gold scrolls into small little baubles and sold them, receiving a total of 260 gold pieces. The Netherese soon also discovered a crystal-like gem under the earth called Chardolin. And if you've played or read Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden, Chardolin plays a significant role. These gems can hold a spell which is released when the gem is crushed. The Netherese mined the area for more than 500 years to get as much Chardolin as they could. Also, around this time, the Netherese discovered space travel and built their first spellgemmer ship, exploring parts of realm space, hoping for more resources to mine and use away from Terrell, on another planet. Now, because of their greedy nature, the Netherese did not have a good reputation in wild space. Now, I end with Karsus, which is also the end of the Netherese magical empire. Karsus was a brilliant wizard who crafted the first and only 12th level spell, Karsus's Avatar. The spell took years to craft and was designed to temporarily steal the powers of a deity, and when the spell was ready, Karsus cast it on himself and chose the goddess of magic Mistral as the target. The weave is made up of something called essential magic, which is unschooled magic in a raw form. Now, after Karsus cast this spell, he gained an influx of godly power and unimaginable knowledge, but instantly realized his mistake. Mistral had kept the essential magic organized. A part of her was the weave and was keeping it stable. The Netherese had manipulated magic into exhaustion, and because of Karsus' spell, Mistral was forced to sacrifice herself in order to save the weave. With her death, the link between her and Karsus was broken, and all magic ceased to exist. Every floating city of the Netherese Empire fell, and Karsus was instantly killed, along with thousands of others. Mistral was reincarnated as a small peasant girl. She went by the name Mistra, and she helped in the recovery of the weave and recreated it with safeguards to prevent what had happened. No longer spells above 10th level would be possible. Mistra sent a dream to the surviving Netherese detailing what had happened as a warning of hubris. With Netheril floating cities appearing in adventures, time magic being present, and strange obelisks, my theory is the realms will have a time jump. I wonder if the ancient obelisks have been placed in specific time periods to age appropriately, waiting for adventurers to unlock their potential. Is Chronomancer actually dead, or is he going to save Netheril through time magic? Would you play a game set in the age of the Netherese, crafting 10th or 11th level spells? Is this just the pipe dream of a lore YouTuber? And what's the deal with Vecna? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks again, Hero Forge, for sponsoring this video. Check out their website by clicking the link in the description. And for more information, I've linked some advanced Dungeons & Dragons PDFs from DriveThruRPG that I used in this video. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing. And thank you, patrons, for supporting the channel. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys all next time.